Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to yet another exciting episode of JailBreak Africa, the one and only podcast which tries to liberate African minds for entrepreneurial success. And of course, we're going to be having more conversations around the topics that we're going to be giving you. Please come through in the comment section and like, share, and subscribe so that you never miss out an episode. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And I welcome you to this brand new spanking episode. And of course, I'm always joined by the one and only Jerry Munyas.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. And yourself?
Fine.
How was your Tuesday?
Tuesday's okay.
Fantastic. So we record this podcast on a Tuesday and then they come to you on Fridays. So take note of that. And there's a lot that has been happening and there's a lot that is yet to happen. But I would like to start by mentioning the death of the reggae guru.
Okay.
Morgan Heritage.
Yeah, I just like the way they Peter Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the son of I think it's Delroy Morgan. And these guys, they decided to found. I think the band was founded in 1994, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
4 siblings: Yuna, Mojo, Grams, and Peter. But unfortunately, Peter died. But what I just liked about that family is the unity.
Yeah.
It's very rare to see
find
a band which is going to have 4 siblings, 1 sister and 3 brothers. It's very rare.
Yeah, it's very rare. And I don't know.
Especially coming from black people.
Yeah. Particularly there's the Marley brothers, the sons to Bob Marley. They've got their own band. They've got music going on.
But they've got their various bands. They're not
outside
united.
Of each other.
No, they've got a lot of them doing their own business.
Okay.
Outside of each other, and sometimes you can actually see them appearing on events individually.
Wow.
Your Zigs, there are a lot of them. Because they have plenty of children.
Yeah.
And also you see. But what I just liked about this family, the uniqueness, you remember, even the Jackson family, the Jackson 5, they ended up splitting.
Yeah, they
Michael,
split.
Yeah, and Michael ended up being the successful story, and later on with Janet. But what I just liked is, even in business, to say, are we able to unite as brothers and really start a business? Or are we able to respect each other, to separate business and family? I think I wrote about it in the Chartered Vendor.
Yeah,
and I touched about it because what I noticed is I have various families which are doing it, and I've noticed some of them, they are united, they can do business together, and you never see any tears. But most of the families, it
I
ends
remember
in tears.
There's a seminar that we once did at Cyber Business World.
Exactly.
I remember it was now the plenary session and somebody asked it a question. There was this guy, I'm forgetting his name. So he employed a relative. So what was now happening is, because he's the MD,
exactly,
the relative was lower than him, way lower. He actually had supervisors and managers on top.
Yeah.
But he was now using his brother's position as the MD to instill authority and manifest authority around.
Exactly.
So he was now bossing around other employees, including his own supervisors. So I remember this gentleman asked the question to say, how do I navigate that? And I will remember this key piece of advice that you gave. Never employ your relatives. It does not work. Do you still stand by those words?
I still stand by it. Why? Because, it's risky. You employ your relative today, and I've employed relatives, and probably part of my company is there's still 1 or 2, but they didn't come in on my blessings. I had to say to the manager who was available, interview here. If you find her useful, you can employ her. But whilst you're at work, I will never even talk to her. I'll only talk to her as just an employee. The problem is, when you employ a relative, there are a lot of emotions involved.
Yeah.
Because business is about logic. That's why you notice that even lawyers, they try to excuse themselves from a case which actually involves them or their relative.
Yeah.
They would rather say you can go to another lawyer, because why? They're involved emotionally into that.
Even doctors,
Even
as well,
doctors
the
as
profession,
well.
they're not allowed to treat their relatives because of a concept they call overcaring.
Exactly.
Which may impair the healing of the patient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So whenever emotions are high, logic ceases to exist. So the moment, I'm not saying people shouldn't employ relatives, but I'm saying because it takes a lot of grooming. I think even you look at this band, which you're talking about, rest in peace, Peter Morgan. We talk of a band. And when I see music personally, I see business. Because musicians are also in business. When you see them, they are singing, it takes a lot of nurturing from their father. Because thumbs up to the father, actually died in 2022. Their family, they were united whilst they're still very young. They were groomed to be together whilst they're still very young. If you still remember, whilst in our rural areas, we used to eat in the same plate. We used to share one meat.
What happened to that?
It's because of culture. We're now saying, right now it's not even worse. It's rare to see one family sitting on the same table, eating the same meal, including husband and wife.
Yeah, that's very true.
When you get into the house, a kid takes his own plate. She's now on cartoons. The other kid get into the spare bedroom. The husband is watching football. The wife is busy in the kitchen. That's how divided we are. So whenever we're going to be growing together now, we are living in the same house, but do we really know each other?
No, we don't.
That's why you notice that even right now, you can have your daughter, but you're actually surprised when the daughter actually goes to school and they're like, my daughter was doing this, because you don't know her. Because you don't even eat together. Those habits, that unity, because we would share same meat, same sadza, same soup. So that would unite us. We are children of the same family and we are being united. And our parents will say, if you're going to Anglican, everyone was supposed to be going to Anglican. Whether you like it or not. Nowadays, same family, 11 children, 11 churches.
Yeah.
The other one is Apostolic. The other one is Pentecostal. The other one goes to Roma. The other one is saying the guy from Roma is a drunkard. The other one is saying this impostor with his stones and whatever. This one is saying anointing oil is dubious. So are these guys going to be united? And if we put them in the same family, same company, do they believe in the same thing?
Yeah, that's very true. And also, you know what? As you were talking about how we were united, there were a lot of things that we used to do that were unique to our African culture, and they were intimate and they brought us together as a people. Across all African cultures, there was that tradition where people share the same meal from the same plates. And we used to sleep in not separated rooms.
Exactly.
But there was a room for boys.
You'll
be congested in there, and a room for girls.
10 of you.
So in the evening, before you go to bed, you would have conversations and you would bond very well. These days, kids 3-4 years, they're now sleeping in separate rooms. We are basically dividing the family.
Exactly.
And if you look at how that intimacy brought the unity together, I can speak into it in terms of Africa as a whole. Imagine when we were sharing a bread basket, when Zimbabwe was responsible for that, would know that everyone is going to be dipping out of Zimbabwe's coffers in terms of grain supply.
Exactly.
But then the moment we individualized the countries to be standalone, that's when borders even grew bigger. Do you know that we renewed the fence that separates South Africa and Zimbabwe?
I noticed it's now there.
Yeah, it was cut down long back. They renewed it. There's now barbed and even soldiers who are prying that boundary.
Exactly.
To make sure that
other Africans will never cross into South Africa.
And I like Julius Malema for always hammering the fact that, guys, the Zimbabwean guys, they are not our enemies. We are friends. Let's sit down together and see how we can assist rather than fight our very own.
Yeah, because we were, as technology is also growing, it has come as people are no longer patient with each other. If you send a message today, if someone doesn't respond to you in the next hour, you're already saying, this guy, he doesn't like me. I think he's doing something. But way back, people used to write letters. They would wait for a month because you'd receive a letter after 2 weeks. Then you send a letter back, they will receive. So you communicate once in a month. That would bring patience. That would bring unity. So nowadays, technology, my kid, 2 years old, she's now operating a phone on her own. So it simply means if you give her a phone only, she's now laughing. She enjoys a phone rather than having a companion of a human being.
Yeah.
So she would rather enjoy it. She can only spend probably 10 minutes with her mother or even 5. They no longer have attention span is actually declining every day.
Yeah.
But if you give her a phone, she can spend 2 hours on a phone.
Without
It's a
talking
2-year-old.
They don't even eat. They don't feel hungry.
They don't feel hungry when else they've got a phone.
And you know what? Technology, I don't know what we're going to do, but in as much as technology has made us more intelligent, has made us more faster, and access to information easier, it is stealing away that thing that makes us humane, which is the need to socialize with other human beings.
Exactly.
You know, Apple released this funny virtual reality goggles and whatever. So what they have essentially managed to do is people were lost in their phones, like you're saying. They are hooked to their phones 4 hours, 6 hours. Someone doesn't even feel hungry until their phone is taken away. Now Apple has created these goggles that if you put them on, it puts you in a different world. You can create a world of your own. You'll be immersed in 3D in your own world where you don't even see.
Yeah, you're in Dubai.
Exactly. So imagine what that's going to do to the rest of the family if everyone is blinding their eyes with those things.
So I think as like what I was saying, even in business, the moment we want to get into business now, we are coming from different regions. This other person liked cartoon A, this one liked cartoon B. And they never shared the cartoons because they were using different phones. They were not sharing anything. Us would say even clothes. Would share everything, literally. Yeah. Everything. And our games also would unite people.
Yeah.
These days, it's about watching the television, watching my laptop. Boom, I'm already in that business. So anyway, even on that business side of music, I think we've also noticed a certain phenomenon which is actually happening in Zimbabwe, whereby people are hitting each other with copyrights.
There's a lot of drama.
Yeah.
I've got my own reservations as far as that is concerned. Maybe for people who don't understand a bit of background, there's been a lot of copyright strikes.
Exactly.
That have been hitting the music industry in Zimbabwe across board. And the YouTube's policy says if you get three copyright strikes, they will delete your content and your channel permanently.
Exactly.
Right. So most artists are now hanging by the thread. They are now on two strikes. So it's more like these producers are coming in, striking. Somebody wrote a song for this person, you're striking. But then if you look at some of the content, it's even years old.
Exactly.
And then my point of division is it a spirit of vengeance that is awoken amongst our artists, or it is the sudden enlightenment to the law to say if something that you created intellectually was taken away from you, you can actually see to it that justice is served by filing for a copyright claim, and then that person is punished.
But my question is, I think we're talking about the Jamaican artists.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of renditions.
Yeah.
I think one song can be done by several artists, 100, 250 artists. Probably that song might be even more popular
than the original. Yeah.
Huh?
I've learned that.
I've never seen them taking copyright action. I don't know. Probably these guys, because I've noticed, especially Jamaican artists, they do a lot of renditions of old American songs.
Yeah.
And most of them, they become so popular. I think if you talk of your busy signals, etc., they're doing that.
The Christopher Martins.
With Christopher Martins. But I've noticed that no one has ever sued them.
Well, the thing is, with some of those artists, they've got proper management systems. So the moment he or she wants to do a song that was done in America but they're based in Jamaica, their management will get hold of the record label that is the copyright.
Or even pay.
Yeah. So they'll look into the business case of it to say, they're for us to get the copyright to do a rendition. Maybe it's going to cost us 15,000.
Exactly.
But how much money are we going to get?
If you're going to do it well.
Yeah, if it makes sense, then they'll pay the 15,000. So when we see the stories, when we hear the song, we think maybe he copied the song, but they actually bought the copyrights to the song. But here, man, in Zimbabwe or in Africa in particular, we have seen the model.
But what about South Africa?
Yeah, South Africans, they do that too. Remember, there's a popular song, I don't know if you know it. It's an amapiano song. It was a remix of an old school, it should be, there's a genre called Bacardi in South Africa. So somebody pulled up a Bacardi song and then remixed it into an amapiano song. They got a copyright strike and it was taken down from YouTube. Because it's the equivalence of taking a Leonard Dembo song and doing an amapiano version of it now.
Okay.
Then the Leonard Dembo family comes to you and say, you never consulted us to use this song. He's a legend in Zimbabwe. You can't just take his music without consulting his family. And obviously, sometimes it's not actually the family that owns the copyright to his music. He was probably under a record label of that time. So the record label is the one that owns the rights to the music. But then my other concern...
What about those who are actually playing live music using other people's songs? Because I've attended... Do you know, this other day, I think I was with one of my videographers who went to Norton. There was this other popular artist in Zimbabwe. She was playing there. And I said, I want to just go and... We're going to enjoy her music because I was the guest of honor.
Okay.
Then I said, you're going to enjoy her music. She only played 2 of her songs. The other ones, she was just stealing other people's songs. She did your Leonard Dembo, she did your Shakatas, she did your Soldier Loves. She did almost everything, but she was copying.
Yeah, so the thing with that, I've got an example that I actually saw recently. There's a group called Pub Choir. So Pub Choir, it's like a group of people that just come together at a bar or at an event. Then they start singing songs from back then, especially urban grooves, with lyrics displaying on a projector, you know. So somebody posted on their page to say, I wonder if they've got the copyrights to the music that they sing. Then they responded with, actually, it's not them that responded, it's Zimura, the Zimbabwe Music Rights Association. They're the ones who responded and said, we have a working relationship with these guys where we license them for playing other people's songs. But like you're rightfully saying, a lot of people don't know this. There are so many bands that do not have original songs that are invited to perform at weddings, at corporate functions. They're busy playing Macheso songs, the Leonard Dembos, the Shakata songs back then.
There are plenty.
Exactly.
That's true.
But they don't have the copyrights to those music.
It reminds me, I also went for, I think this actually the other band which does it usually plays in business awards. And they repeat almost Tuku songs, Mukanya songs. They don't have their original songs. So, but it's about people understanding law. Because it's a matter of, I think we need to also invite a lawyer.
Yeah,
if we're a lawyer in MNJ, we actually invite her. Then you want to know more about the Copyrights Act. How does it work in terms of trademarking my work? How does it work in terms of patenting my work as well? Because it's not only affecting music, but it's other things business, which are also even affecting businesses.
Yeah, true.
You are using your name for 10 years. If you notice the chicken slice, chicken in war, whereby they're fighting for that love.
The spelling the
L-U-V.
But guys, I've got my reservations. I remember when we were texting on the Nokia 3310s, the ones where you had to wait. That was the conventional love. You'd write the L-U-V.
Exactly. So,
but who owns it?
But it's because you might, you know what, you can sing a song, but so long if you don't protect that song,
then you'll be in for trouble.
Yeah, because the issue is about, did you protect whatever you were doing? Because you can have a company name today, it's not registered. It doesn't have a trademark. If I'm going to steal that logo and problem the first one to do that trademark, I still remember this other company, we did our, we did our logo, we registered that name. Then after about a year, this other guy came. Then he said, "You're using my company name. I've got a trademark. I've registered the trademark." And we registered the company on the 18th of October. And this guy started registering his trademark on the 21st. The same name, same company. Then they wanted to stop us from using that name. I still remember my client had to pay about 15,000 in order for them not to continue using that name. So what people do, it's actually a business. People, they don't know it. That I can move around just checking if a name is registered, then I'll register it, then I'll sue you. I'll get more money. If I notice that this name, you had actually made a lot of money using this name. Then so it's a matter of ignorance.
Wow.
And ignorance of the law,
it's
got no
it's
defense.
not an excuse, And you know what? These copyright issues, they've been happening. There's artist to artist, then there's corporate to corporate, then there's also corporate to artist.
To artists.
Were you aware of the Hello Mari song by Jam Master?
No, I didn't know.
So it's the old song Hello Mari.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
I know.
So what happened was the song was trending. And because they had hired, this junior marketing team, they're coming in, they understand what the streets are vibing to. So they wanted to rope in the song into their campaign. And then this bank came up with Hello Mari. Immediately. It didn't, even 2 days is too long. They were struck by a copyright. You just did some wordplay. My song is Hello Mari.
Exactly.
And then you did Hello Mari.
Exactly.
So the case, I like the way how they handled it. They didn't allow for it to escalate on social media as a drama or something. They quickly adopted the artist into
that's when
brand
he signed a deal without a shirt.
ABC, exactly.
Oh, okay. That's how it started.
That's how it started.
And he was given a car.
Yeah, he was given a car. So at least, so these corporate claims, they do work. Then one fascinating one that happens in the corporate space, this one now, it shifts the power dynamic. From what we have been discussing, these are people who have got authority for their brands and everything else. But then there's this one particular incident that I want to let you in on. Remember the Please Call Me? Just across the border in South Africa, there's a young man who was working for that, is it Vodacom?
Vodacom.
For that telecoms company in South Africa. So he came up with that idea. And this young man was smart. You know what he did? Instead of just saying it out like an idea, he wrote down a business proposal to it. And then he gave it to his supervisor. His supervisor said, "No, what? Go and see the management team." And then Vodacom was a small company, so the executives were within the same premises. So he just went to their offices, pitched out his idea, and then they liked it. Then they adopted it, right? So he then noticed that he was excluded. He went to ask for what belonged to him, to say, "Is there anything for me?" Then they were like, "Why?
Why? You're just an employee."
Exactly. So they did this back and forth, and fighting, up until the CEO then was now claiming that it was his idea. So they went to court. They went through all the forms of court, including the Constitutional Court.
Exactly.
They went there. So after a legal battle that lasted for almost 18 years, the guy finally won. And guess how much he's owed? He's owed around 2.4 billion rands. Because the judge said you need to pay him every cent that you made.
2.4 billion.
Yes. That's how rich the young man is now.
Wow.
So my question now is, you're a business executive. There are obviously people who are going to come with ideas. How much credit do you give to them for coming up with those ideas, especially if they make you money? Or you're an employee, any ideas you originate or form within these premises, they belong to the company. There's a clause in the employment. So what's your take on that? Should employees be given a stake into initiatives or innovations that they bring within the vicinity of the company, especially those that benefit the company?
I'll give you an example. I've got this other smart young man. We created a payroll. For a long period of time, I was looking for people who can actually develop a better payroll. So I encountered a lot of people, some of them with master's degrees, some of them would claim that they've worked for so-and-so, they've developed so-and-so, but they would look at the payroll, then they would run away. Then this young man on attachment just said, he was a designer, and he just said, "Let me try." Then he said, you know that most of the people have failed developing this payroll. Do you think, young one, I teach you can do this payroll? Then he said, "Let me try." Then he tried. He produced the payroll. It's actually working. We're actually using that payroll even now.
Wow.
So what I did was, young man, you've done this. So what we're going to do is you're going to get 5%
of every sale
every sale you're going to make from this payroll.
Wow. That's a
even
good
if you're going to leave, you still get the
your
5% because of what? You've created something which was not
asset
to the company. Yes, you're paying him salary. Yes, you're giving him incentives. But I just thought that it's fair to give credit where it's actually
makes
due.
a lot of sense.
So the issue is about appreciating what these young people are also doing. Because I think if that young man is now 2.4 billion rands, if they had actually given him 50,000 rands by then, he was going to accept it.
Yeah.
Or even 20. Because what he wanted was just a mention and an appreciation. Because some of these people, they don't even want more. They just want to be said, thank you. Yeah. Simple. You see? Probably just by saying if someone has edited your book, by just including his name, already it's actually something which somebody can give certification to that person. But some people, you can edit their book, then they'll eliminate you totally from that. Then they'll appear as if they've done everything on their own.
Yeah.
That's where you see all these copyrights. Yeah. So like if you still remember Winky D and is it this producer? Very popular producer. I think it's I'm not forgetting the name. Oskid. Is it Oskid?
Oskid, yeah.
Yeah. Where he was actually saying, I produced your songs, but you removed the tag. Because remember, there's why you're supposed to mention that Oskid or Oskid Productions. Then Wicked Z went on, and when he was now putting the final product, he removed the tag. Then this guy actually made a lot of noise, but by then, Winky D being Winky D, he won that argument on social media.
Yeah, of course.
But if they'd gone, they've parted ways. Right now, they are now in good books. He was going to strike a copyright.
Yeah, of course. It was going to come. And I know that he's on 2 strikes now.
Yeah.
Anyone who comes with the third one, then...
He's down and out.
Yeah, he's down
and
out.
But anyway, whilst we're on copyrights, I mentioned about musicians who were playing during business awards. What's your say about business awards?
Okay, before you even get to awards,
okay, what about musicians awards?
I just want to talk about the whole award system in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many awards in Zimbabwe, but one thing always stands out: the credibility of those awards. The credibility right now.
Nama, what were they getting?
Nama,
did they get anything?
Nama,
or were they actually paid for them to attend?
I know. Nama, you don't necessarily pay to attend. Oh. Yeah, they've got some good sponsors and they've set up a very functional organization.
But are you paid?
Yeah, you get something.
How much?
I don't know, but you get something.
Okay, we want to ask our audience.
So yeah. There are a lot of people who are crying foul, including our dear own business executive, Tinashe Mtarisi.
Yeah.
So you know that Tinashe Mtarisi took initiative during COVID to assist the artists in Zimbabwe to get by. Because remember, artists, they get much of their money from live performances. Remember, the CDs were pirated until they didn't make any sense.
Yeah, he did a great job. Huh?
Yeah. So he gave them a platform, and it was Nash TV. Yeah. And the director then was Butterfly, etc. Yeah. So artists were coming in, you know, they were doing their things and stuff. So I think he saw that there's potential for the music industry. Eventually, he adopted a certain number of artists, the popular one being Saint Flo.
Yeah.
So he's got an artist.
Didn't he also adopt, I don't know, ask him personally, Mr. Mtarisi. I thought at one point he was working with Freeman.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I remember there was an album released by Freeman where he actually featured.
Exactly.
The song,
exactly. I know that they're buddies, they're friends.
Yeah.
But shout out to Mr. Mtarisi. He has done a phenomenal job, a wonderful job in the music industry. Because it's very difficult. Because most of the people, they think he will be benefiting from sponsoring music in Zimbabwe. Those who actually know. He's a man who is actually pumping in money into the
music industry.
Even during COVID, I think he's on the record to say, I didn't benefit anything.
Yeah.
Because I think there were contracts whereby people were now saying, no, he was the one who was benefiting from the artists. But to be honest, people, they really know
that he is putting in money. Yeah.
I've actually hired artists, and some of the artists being part of my my speaking engagements, you'll be surprised with what they can take for a show. I had an artist, I won't mention names, but an artist can take $100 to play in a whole hour during a show. Wow. So I don't think Mr. Mtaris was benefiting anything from
much,
that.
Yeah, true. So he's now venting on social media. He's saying that, the way we were dressed, we just didn't dress to come and see. We knew that we were supposed to win at least 2 awards.
Yeah, but him being diplomatic, he just said, no, those who won were working.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So his artist, he was nominated under 3 categories.
And he lost.
He didn't win in all 3 categories. So he was now venting.
And I heard that there was a video which won, but it's not even it out.
I saw someone who was nominated in the category. But then the person who won the video of the year, the video is not even on YouTube. Nobody can see it. So now some people were arguing to say, no, the NAMA submissions are not public, right? If I submit something that has not been released, it's supposed to be considered. So they saw the video. So, it's raising credibility issues because it's difficult.
How do you measure?
It's like people come into a group interview. Then none of them get the job. Exactly. Then someone who did not attend, then you say, no, you were sick, so we interviewed him over the phone. He's the one who got the interview. You begin to question the credibility of the process.
Yeah.
So that's what has been happening with the NAMAs and other
business awards.
Yeah, so they are business awards now.
You have to pay money for you to attend awards.
I've got a client of mine.
I've won many of those. But when I quit, when I said no, guys, you shouldn't give me awards, was when two times I met this other lady.
Yeah.
She's my friend. She didn't even have any office. Huh? But she's won 5 awards. And I'm like, how? You don't have office, you don't have any employee, but you've won
business of the year.
Business executive of the year, young businesswoman of the year,
business strategy. You're one person.
One person. And later on now, this was monumental now.
Yeah.
When a student on attachment won the best marketer, I'm like, and they didn't know. Do you know what? When they gave that young lady an award, that's when they not told by the owner of the company.
She's on attachment.
She's just on attachment.
Hilarious. What happens? So you know what? The thing with awards, if the accreditation process is not properly done, it takes away from the people who are really working hard.
Exactly. It's so like amongst those who are receiving awards, there are also people who deserves getting the awards.
The awards.
But my question is always, how are you choosing these guys to actually get the awards? To me, number one, I strongly believe that people are not supposed to pay if they are going to get an award. Number one.
Before you even jump to number 2, there's an award here in Zimbabwe, a business award, whereby if you don't pay, then you don't. If you don't pay,
most of them, if you don't pay, you don't get the award.
So it's not an award. I never deserved it. Anyway.
Exactly. Number 2, if there are awards, they are supposed to have an adjudication process. I was supposed to envy to say Steve has gotten this award. And Steve has done this, and this for him to get an award. For example, I can say probably Nash Paints. They've done this. They now have, they had 2 branches last year. They now have 15 branches. They had probably 200 employees. They now have 700 employees, which means they're increasing their number of employees. They're increasing probably their revenue. So to me, I'll be like, I want to be Nash Paints. And I should know, if I'm number 2, I'm supposed to be saying, what can I go? So I also going to work in the next year for me to get the award.
Yeah,
and it will improve the economy. It will improve the performance of the companies. But nowadays if I can see probably a company, and some of them, they continuously win these awards year in, year out.
It's almost as if they've monopolized.
I know of a lady who has actually won a lot of awards, but she went out of business sometime last year, and I think she's actually bouncing back this year. So you're getting the awards, and you're fooling yourself also that I'm the best.
But are you really?
But are you really the best?
Yeah.
If you want to see that credibility is in question, most of these big brands, they don't want to be associated with awards.
Yeah, that's very true.
You see.
I've noticed, I actually know a very big retail outlet. It's got a chain of stores across the country.
But it is never.
They've constantly turned down a certain award.
Exactly. But what we're saying, the guys who are also doing the awards, thumbs up to them. They've actually brought a lot of talent in the limelight. But the questions, they will start being raised now when you give these dubious people to say, this person, what has he really done for him to deserve a what? An award. I still remember this other award ceremony. I went for the awards. Then on the category now, I was given the best relationship coach of the year. I'm like,
and none of what you do is related to
relationships. And
oh wait, but you've got sources goes to jail.
It was before that. So it makes everything looks dubious.
Yeah, true.
You see, but shout out to the people who are doing that. It helps our industry. By the end of the day, we want credibility to lead. As we are also, because we don't want a situation whereby, and also it's not in Zimbabwe only. I've been called by this other guy from the East. I don't mention names. Then they said they've won yourself an award. And I'm like, okay. Sometimes leadership awards. Then I'm like, okay. Then they said they want to feature me in a magazine. Half page of that magazine was 5,500 US. Full page was 7,500 US. Then I'm like, dude,
I don't have that money.
I don't have that money. Am I going to pay all this money? They said, no, you need this award. And you can also come to Dubai. That's where the award ceremony is going to happen. You meet a lot of presidents. Then I'm like,
please keep your award.
Please keep your award.
And you know what? As you're speaking, I'm actually realizing, okay, let's look at the purpose of awards is to reward people who are genuinely putting in the work.
Exactly.
And then also awards are very critical in the sense that they help to set the standard for an industry.
Exactly.
That's why at the end of the award system, they're supposed to tell you the criteria that they used. So that if ever you want to win the award, you follow the checkpoints in that criteria. And what that does is if everyone is vying to get the award, they will improve on all the highlighted items. And guess what? We now have a quality industry, right? But then with Zimbabwe or with across Africa, I've realized that awards are now a business. They're looking to actually turn over a profit from the awards to a point where they're now giving awards to popular figures so that the association of their awards
if I display it in my office,
it's associated with popular people. So they are waiting on people to ride on the glory. They're waiting for their awards to ride on the glory of the people, other than the people riding on the glory of the awards. You look at the American awards, the Grammys. They're so prestigious, and there's
they've maintained standards.
Exactly, they've maintained standards, and they are very clear on their criteria. Do you know that the backlash that they get from the people, it's not about credibility. It's about, but you guys, you said you mark A, B, C, and D.
Exactly.
But so and so did this better than Ningi.
Exactly.
So the argument is about their own standards, right? But here, the standard is not even clear. We don't even know what we are measured against. And we don't even know what to do, but
what about if we set... I've had a backlash with some of my brothers in the industry when I actually said, what about if we set certain awards, probably sales awards, national competition for salespeople, or probably set awards for salespeople. Then, instead of getting their money from the people who are attending the awards, what about if we give... Let's say if the best salesperson, he actually walks away with a Honda Fit for starters.
That makes a lot of
Probably
sense.
Second,
it makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Gets a MacBook.
Yeah.
Third, gets an iPhone.
It makes a lot of sense.
At least this guy is going to get a vehicle, then he was going to make more sales.
Yeah.
This guy is going to get a laptop. He's going to enter leads in his CRM.
And also,
this other guy is going to get a phone. He can now start communicating with customers on a better phone.
Yeah.
And it actually pumps up. The guys who are actually following can emulate and say, I also want to be like this person because there's one a car.
So the whole sales people across industries, they will improve their game.
Exactly.
So that they
knowing that they can get a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we are saying, you then need to be very clear on the criteria by which you are judging people. And then let's move on to some interesting current affairs stories that are happening. 2024. Do you know that 2024 is an election year? Not for Zimbabwe only, but
Zimbabwe was 2023.
2023, yeah. It's a global election year.
And most of the power houses are going for elections.
Over 64 countries that are going in for elections this year. Yeah. I'm fascinated by that. You know why? Because remember, we always talk about bilateral relationships. Our president is flying in and out of the country, seeing other heads of state, trying to form these relationships.
America, USA summit.
Exactly. So now, please don't go there. I know.
Africa, USA summit.
So, because the heads of state are constantly visiting each other to try and establish working relationships for their countries, for the betterment of their citizens, right? Now imagine if we have to shuffle around 64 presidents. Imagine what is going to happen to certain agreements, certain relationships by certain presidents. So I was your friend because you were in power in your country. And then you lose. We are no longer friends. Now we can't engage at the same level.
I think the election which is going to change everything.
Yeah.
The
US one.
Donald Trump coming back.
Do you think he stands a chance?
I think so.
I remember there was a video that was making
so. What they are doing to him, it's making him more popular.
But I'm afraid though, the guy doesn't. He's not scared.
I like him for that.
But you should be a bit scared, so that at least you've got something reserved in you.
But you know what? I like his guts. You've got all these other. I think he's got a lot of court cases whereby he was being indicted. He's got a lot of cases. But I just like him as a human being. Why do I like him? I've read some of his books, like Art of the Deal and other books which I've read. The guy is tough. That's why he's a billionaire. And the guy, when he wants something, he goes for it, no matter what is at stake. That's what he does. So to me, that passion, and remember, to me personally, if I was going to in America, I would vote for Donald. Why? When he was the president, we never had a war. The world was at peace. There were no. If you notice under Biden, we now have Israel is burning. Is burning. Palestine is burning. Ukraine is burning. There are a lot of wars. And if you notice, out of the last 5 presidents in America, only Donald Trump
is the one who
never started a war. He actually ended some war.
Yeah, he pacified that rebuilding of the temple.
Exactly. If you notice, you'd get along with North Korea, you'd get along with Russia, you'd get along because to him it was all about business.
Yeah.
To him it was business. I still remember him sanctioning China. What he was doing was business. And America actually improved business-wise when he was in power.
Donald Trump is a businessman. I remember as I was a kid, I used to watch his program, The Apprentice.
Exactly.
Where he would take young, ambitious entrepreneurs, put them in his company, give them as managers to certain departments. Then every week they would have a board meeting. And they would agree with each other in terms of the decision that they'd made. And then if anybody had made a bad decision, they'll be fired until there's one outstanding apprentice.
Exactly.
So I like that about him.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening in the global space.
And South Africa? Do you think Jacob Zuma?
South Africa.
Out of ANC? Is it going to affect that side of the Zulu nation?
No, I don't.
I don't think ANC can be destroyed anytime soon.
They don't stand. ANC is like the ZANU-PF of South Africa. So you know what? Funny enough, do you know that presidents they're lenient on each other, especially if they know that if I agree with this one on their election, my election is coming and I need the same president.
And you also need endorsement.
Do you know Who was the first president to congratulate Emerson Mnangagwa for winning the presidency?
It was President Cyril Ramaphosa.
Ramaphosa.
Yeah, which is
was the first one.
it's do you know what? It's all about bilateral relationships, and these guys are friends. They're liberational cadres. They worked together prior to. So sometimes that brotherhood, you don't want to disturb that brotherhood. But anyway, we are not politicians. We are business people. What we just want is a better environment.
True.
Whenever
to run business
there is good business, we can thrive. Whatever is happening in the political world, politicians, they remain politicians.
Yeah.
But we also wish them good luck. Whoever is going to run, actually, they've said, I think is it in the Bible whereby they actually said, I'm the one who chooses leaders.
Yeah.
So whoever we have as a leader has been endorsed by God.
Yeah.
So we support him fully, we endorse him fully, and you also make sure that as business world, we support the vision. Like right now, which vision are we running with in Zimbabwe?
Vision 2030.
Vision 2030.
Becoming an upper middle income economy. By 2030.
So we are supporting that fully, and we want to achieve that as an economy, because that's how we can create a better world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this episode of JailBreak Africa. If you enjoyed, please interact with us in the comment section. If we hit a nerve, please let us know in the comment section as well, because we borrow the next conversation from the comments. Otherwise, from me to you, it's a goodbye. But before I leave, please subscribe. We are waiting. Please subscribe. I know you. The number of viewers is not tallying with the numbers of subscribers. Please subscribe. And turn on the notification so that when we upload, you won't miss the episode. Otherwise, from me to you, I'm out.